The doctor's words hit me like a physical blow. Talia, delaying your next treatment isn't an option. The risks are too high. I stared at my phone's banking app, refreshing it again and again, as if that would somehow make the numbers change. But the trust fund balance stayed mockingly low, 740,013. Yesterday, it had been $50,000, my safety net, my lifeline, my next 3 rounds of treatment. My name is Talia, and I've spent 26 years learning that chronic illness is expensive. But I never thought I'd have to learn that lesson from my own family. Mom? My voice shook as I called her. The trust fund, Grandma's medical trust fund. It's empty. There must be some mistake. The pause on the other end lasted a beat too long. Oh, honey, we meant to tell you. We had to borrow it temporarily for Stuart's wedding. You know how these things are. The room started spinning. Borrow? Mom, that money was for my treatments. My doctor just said, don't be dramatic, sweetie. We're family. We share. Stuart needs this wedding to be perfect. Francesca's family has expectations. Besides, he promised to help with your medical bills once he gets his bonus. I gripped the phone tighter. When? The treatment can't wait that long, and that money wasn't yours to take. Talia. Her voice turned sharp, the way it always did when I didn't fall in line. Your brother is getting married. This is his moment. Stop being selfish. Selfish? The word tasted bitter. Where was sharing when I needed help with college, when I couldn't work full time because of flare ups? That was different. Stuart had such potential. And I don't? You know, that's not what I meant. But it was exactly what she meant. It always had been. I hung up and drove straight to their house, my hands trembling on the steering wheel. Dad answered the door in his reading glasses, looking startled to see me. Princess, we weren't expecting you. The trust fund, Dad, $50,000. Gone. He removed his glasses, rubbing the bridge of his nose. We did what we had to for Stuart. These things cost money. My treatments cost money. That's why Grandma set up the trust in the first place. Mom appeared behind him. Lower your voice, the neighbors will hear. Good. Let them hear how you stole from your sick daughter to fund your golden boy's Instagram wedding. Now that's enough. Dad's voice rose. We didn't steal anything. We're your parents. We made a decision. A decision about my medical care without even telling me? Stop being dramatic, Mom snapped. Stuart needs this. Do you know how many followers Francesca has? This wedding will put our family on the map. I laughed, hollow and harsh. Right, because that's what matters. Not the fact that I might end up in the hospital, but how many likes your precious Stuart gets. You always do this, Mom said, shaking her head. Every time something good happens for your brother, you find a way to make it about you. The familiar ache in my joints was nothing compared to the pain in my chest. When has anything ever been about me? We've sacrificed everything for you. Do you know how much your treatments have cost us over the years? That's why Grandma left the trust fund, because she knew you'd always put him first. Mom's face hardened. Your grandmother didn't understand family loyalty. No, I whispered. She understood it perfectly. I turned to leave, but Mom grabbed my arm. This conversation isn't over. You need to understand. Don't touch me. I jerked away. You know what? You're right. This conversation isn't over, but it will be soon. Back in my car, I caught sight of something poking out of my oversized purse, the corner of an old leather bound journal. Grandma's journal. I'd grabbed it this morning while looking for bank statements, but hadn't opened it yet. Something tugged at my memory. A conversation with Grandma near the end when she'd made me promise to read everything she left behind. There are protections in place, she'd said, squeezing my hand. When you need them most, you'll find them. I pulled the journal into my lap and a folded letter slipped from between its pages. Legal letterhead. My hands trembled as I opened it. Dear Mrs. Annika Crawford, this letter confirms the special provisions we discussed regarding the medical trust fund. My phone buzzed. A text from Stuart. Mom's upset. Stop making everything difficult. It's my wedding. I looked at the letter again, then at his text. For the first time in years, I smiled. My hands shook as I read the letter again in my apartment, hardly daring to believe what I was seeing. The legal language was dense, but one paragraph stood out like a neon sign. In the event of misuse or unauthorized withdrawal of funds from the medical trust by the designated trustees, Peyton and Thaddeus, all inheritance rights shall immediately transfer to beneficiary, Talia, including but not limited to property, investments, and liquid assets currently valued at approximately $350,000. I grabbed my phone and Googled the lawyer's name, Carmen Wong. Her office was still at the same address listed on the letterhead. 20 minutes later, I sat in a sleek downtown office, clutching Grandma's letter while Carmen reviewed it. I remember this clause clearly, she said, adjusting her glasses. Your grandmother was very specific about her concerns. Did she know? I leaned forward. That they would do this? Carmen's expression softened. She knew your parents' patterns. She wanted to protect you. Can they fight it if I pursue this? She shook her head. The language is ironclad. We made sure of that. Your parents signed acknowledgement of these terms when they became trustees. She pulled up documents on her computer. Look, their signatures, right here. My phone buzzed. Mom again. We need to discuss your attitude about the wedding. Family dinner tonight. I ignored it. What do I need to do? Carmen started typing. I'll prepare the paperwork. We'll need bank statements showing the unauthorized withdrawal, proof it was used for the wedding rather than medical expenses. She paused. Are you sure you want to do this? It will change everything. They already changed everything when they took that money. She nodded. Give me an hour to prepare the documents. But Talia? Her eyes met mine. Once we file this, there's no going back. Back home, I stood staring at the wedding invitation, mocking me from my fridge. Gold embossed letters announced Stuart and Francesca's dream wedding. Below it, a handwritten note from Mom. Wear something slimming, dear. Photos are forever. My phone rang. Stuart. What's your problem? He demanded before I could speak. Mom's crying because you're being difficult about the money. That money was for my treatment. Oh, please, you're always sick. I'm getting married. This is important. And my health isn't? Don't be dramatic. I told you I'd help once I get my bonus. Family helps family. I laughed bitterly. Really? Where was that attitude when I needed help with tuition, or when I couldn't work during my flare ups? That was different. I had potential. Say that again, Stuart. Say exactly what you mean. He sighed dramatically. Look, just come to dinner tonight. Mom wants to smooth things over. She's making your favorite. My favorite is salmon. Mom's making your favorite. Beef stroganoff. She always makes your favorite. Whatever. Just be there, and try not to ruin everything for once. I hung up and called Carmen instead. I have the papers ready, she said. But there's something else you should know. The rehearsal dinner venue? Your parents put a deposit down 3 months ago, right before they drained your trust fund. My stomach lurched. They planned this. There's more. They've already listed their house for sale. Quietly, but it's on the market. I think they knew they'd have to pay the money back eventually. So they just decided to gamble with my health in the meantime? I'm so sorry, Talia. I looked at the wedding invitation again. The rehearsal dinner was in 2 days at the Crystal Ballroom. All of Francesca's influencer friends would be there, broadcasting every moment. Carmen, how fast can we file these papers? We could have everything ready by tomorrow morning. But again, are you certain? My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. Dinner at 7. Wear something nice. Stuart's bringing Francesca. I thought about all the times I'd sat quietly, swallowing my pain while they celebrated Stuart. All the times they'd dismissed my illness as inconvenient to their perfect family narrative. I'm certain, I said. But let's wait to file until the morning of the rehearsal dinner. I want to give them one last family meal. Talia, they always said timing is everything, right? Well, I'm finally learning from their example. After hanging up, I texted Mom back. I'll be there, and don't worry, I'll be wearing something perfect for the occasion. The revenge forming in my mind wasn't pretty, but then again, neither was stealing from your sick daughter to fund your golden child's wedding. Sometimes karma needs a little push, and Grandma had given me exactly the shove I needed. I smiled at the invitation one last time before ripping it off the fridge. Time to RSVP properly. They did what? Ramona slammed her coffee mug down so hard that several cafe patrons turned to stare. Tell me you're joking. I shook my head, pulling out my old journal. Look at this entry from when Stuart graduated college. I flipped to the page. May 15th. Stuart got a BMW for graduation. Mom says they'll help with my community college once they recover from the car payments. And did they? What do you think? I worked two jobs between flare ups to pay tuition. Ramona's eyes narrowed. Show me more. I turned more pages. Here's when I got diagnosed. Stuart had a football game that day. Guess where they were? No. Mom said they'd catch up on the medical stuff tomorrow. They didn't want to disappoint his coach. I remember that day, Ramona said quietly. I'm the one who drove you home from the hospital. And now this. I showed her the trust fund statements. $50,000 gone for his Instagram worthy wedding. To that influencer girl who keeps posting about authentic living while hawking diet tea. Francesca herself, who, by the way, has no idea they took my medical fund for her perfect day. Ramona leaned back, crossing her arms. So, what's this plan you mentioned? I pulled out Carmen's paperwork and explained the inheritance clause. Ramona's eyes grew wider with each detail. Holy shit, she whispered. Your grandmother was a genius. She knew them better than anyone. I sipped my now cold coffee. The rehearsal dinner is tomorrow night. All of Francesca's influencer friends will be there, live streaming everything. You're going to do it there? In front of everyone? They care so much about appearances? Fine, let's give them something to see. Ramona grabbed my hand. Talia, are you sure? This will nuke your entire family. What family? The one that's been treating me like an inconvenient footnote my whole life. I pulled out my phone, showing her recent texts. Mom, don't forget dinner tonight. Stuart has big news about the wedding. Try to be enthusiastic this time. Stuart, hey sis, can you not mention the trust fund thing at dinner? It's bringing down the wedding vibe. Dad, Princess, your mother's upset. You know how she gets. Just apologize so we can move forward. See? They're not even sorry. They just want me to shut up and play my role. The quiet, sickly sister who shouldn't make waves. Damn. Ramona shook her head. Show me more of these journal entries. I flipped through pages. Stuart's college graduation party versus my quiet diploma arrival in the mail. His promotion celebration versus my first remission milestone. Every family photo where I was positioned at the edge, easy to crop out. Remember this one? I pointed to an entry from last year. When I asked for help with rent during my bad flare up, what did they say? That they were saving for Stuart's future, had to make sure he could afford a house in the right neighborhood once he proposed to Francesca. Ramona's face darkened. The same money they're now spending on his wedding instead of your treatment? Bingo! My phone buzzed again, a wedding planning group text I hadn't asked to join. Francesca. Final seating chart for tomorrow. Everyone check your tables. Mom. Oh, add Talia to table 12 in the back. Almost forgot. Stuart. Maybe by the kitchen? The lighting's better for her complexion. Ramona read over my shoulder and swore. Table 12? By the kitchen? Are you kidding me? I smiled grimly. Don't worry, I won't be sitting there long. What do you need me to do? Just be ready with your phone. Record everything. I want a record of their faces when they realize what Grandma did. And after? When it all blows up? I touched the journal's worn cover, thinking of all the pain documented inside. After? I start living without their shadow over me. I get my treatment. I stop being the family afterthought. They'll never forgive you. They never saw me anyway. I stood up, gathering my things. Besides, as they love to say, family comes first. I'm just finally putting myself first in my own family. Ramona hugged me tight. I'm proud of you. And I bet your grandmother would be too. My phone buzzed one last time. Mom. Darling, I've adjusted the seating chart. Table 11 instead. You'll be with Stuart's old college friends. Please try to keep the health talk to a minimum. It makes people uncomfortable. I showed Ramona the message. See? Always hiding me away. Well, tomorrow night I'm done being invisible. Tomorrow, then, Ramona said, her eyes fierce with loyalty. We make them see you. I touched my grandmother's letter in my bag. Tomorrow we make them remember me. Hold still, Talia. Mom fussed with my bridesmaid dress. Really, if you'd just lost those 5 pounds like I suggested. We were at the final fitting, the day before the rehearsal dinner. Francesca twirled in her designer gown while her friends live streamed everything. The dress fits fine, Mom. Fine isn't good enough for Stuart's big day. She yanked the zipper harder. Everything needs to be perfect. Francesca floated over, her diamond ring catching the light. Oh my god, Talia, you look nice. We can totally brighten this up with some contouring makeup. I'll have my glam squad help. Thanks, I muttered, watching Mom beam at Francesca like she'd offered me a kidney. Speaking of help, Stuart chimed in from his phone scrolling perch. I was thinking about your medical stuff, sis. Once I get my bonus next quarter, I could probably chip in a bit. I met his eyes in the mirror. A bit of the 50,000 you borrowed? The room went silent. Francesca's perfectly shaped eyebrows drew together. What 50,000? Nothing, darling. Mom cut in smoothly. Just some family business. Talia, come help me with these alterations. She dragged me to the fitting room, hissing under her breath. Are you trying to ruin everything? Like you ruined my treatment schedule? Don't be dramatic. Stuart will help once he's settled. Family takes care of family. Is that what this is? Taking care of family? Her fingers dug into my arm. You know what? Don't come to dinner tonight. You're clearly not in the right headspace to be supportive. Fine by me. I peeled off the dress, ignoring her protests about being careful with the fabric. My phone buzzed. Carmen. Legal documents are ready, her text read. Filing first thing tomorrow. Are you sure about the timing? I looked up to see Francesca doing another twirl for her live stream. Perfect timing, I texted back. Talia, Mom called. At least come say goodbye to your brother. I walked out in my regular clothes. Stuart barely glanced up from his phone. Hey, try not to be such a downer tomorrow, okay? It's kind of my big day. Don't worry, I smiled. I've got something special planned. Back home, I opened my email to find Carmen's presentation, a simple, devastating PowerPoint that laid out every detail: the trust fund withdrawal, the timing of the wedding deposits, the inheritance clause, all of it. My phone lit up with a text from Francesca. Bridesmaid brunch tomorrow before rehearsal. Don't be late, I replied with sugary sweetness. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Can't wait to see what surprises tomorrow brings. Ramona called moments later. Everything set? Carmen's got the papers ready? You got your phone charged for recording? Girl, I got two backup batteries. I'm not missing a second of this. I laughed, then stopped suddenly as another text came through, from Dad this time. Princess, your mother's upset. Says you were difficult at the fitting. Remember when you were little and had stage fright at the school play? I told you then. Sometimes we have to put on a brave face for the people we love. My hands shook as I typed back. I remember, Dad. I also remember being in the hospital while you and Mom were at Stuart's football game. Guess we all have different memories. He replied instantly, That's not fair. We did our best. No, you did your best for Stuart. I got whatever was left over. We made sacrifices you don't understand. Like sacrificing my health for his wedding? No response. Ramona was still on the line. You okay? They still think they did nothing wrong, I said quietly. They really believe they're the heroes of this story. Well, tomorrow they find out they're the villains. You ready? I opened my closet, where a sleek black dress hung ready. Not the pastel bridesmaid monstrosity, something elegant, sharp, memorable, perfect for delivering life changing news. You know what's funny? I told Ramona. They always taught us that actions have consequences. They just never thought the consequences would be for them. My phone buzzed one last time, a group text from Mom. Final rehearsal dinner schedule. Everyone please arrive by 6 p.m. sharp. Talia, dear, I've seated you with the photographer. Try to smile naturally this time. Your last family photo was a bit strained. I showed Ramona the message. She swore colorfully. Oh, I'll give them a photo to remember, I said, touching the folder of legal documents on my desk. Tomorrow they'll finally see me clearly. And the photographer will capture every moment. Perfect? I smiled. After all, as Mom always says, photos are forever. The crystal ballroom sparkled with enough opulence to fund several rounds of my treatment. Champagne towers caught the light, custom topiaries spelled out S&F, and a drone buzzed overhead, capturing every calculated moment. Talia? Mom's voice was artificially bright. You're early, and you changed your dress? Didn't want to strain the photos. I smoothed my black silk dress. Simple, elegant, deadly. It's a bit severe. She frowned. And you're supposed to be in pastels like the other bridesmaids. I'm not a bridesmaid anymore, remember? Table 11 by the kitchen. Before she could respond, Francesca's voice rang out. Everyone, places for the entrance video. I watched my parents rush to position themselves perfectly for the cameras. Stuart and Francesca made their entrance, her white designer dress practically glowing under the professional lighting. Family photo time, the photographer called. Oh, Talia, Mom waved dismissively. We'll catch you in the next round. I sat at my assigned table, surrounded by Stuart's old college friends who barely acknowledged me. My phone buzzed. Ramona had arrived. In position, she texted. Camera ready. The toast began. Mom stood first, champagne glittering. Family is everything, she declared, voice thick with emotion. Everything we do for family. My stomach turned. Dad followed. We're so blessed to have both our children here tonight, he said, then added with a laugh, though one of them made this day possible. Stuart's friends snickered. One leaned over to me. Hey, you're the quiet one, right? The sick sister? I smiled tightly. Not quiet. Just waiting for my turn. More toasts followed. Stuart's college roommate. To the golden boy, always knew you'd do something amazing, Francesca's maid of honor. To the most perfect couple, living their best life. Each word felt like another brick in the wall they'd built to hide me behind. Anyone else? The MC asked. I stood up. Mom's face went pale. Talia, sit down, she hissed. This isn't the time. Actually, Mom, it's exactly the time. I walked to the microphone, aware of every camera tracking me. I'd like to share something about family. Stuart shifted uncomfortably. Francesca's live stream kept rolling. When my grandmother was dying, I began. She told me something important about family, about protection, about love. I pulled out my phone, opening Carmen's presentation. She also left me a trust fund for my medical treatments. The room went silent. Mom stood up, but Dad grabbed her arm. $50,000, I continued, set aside specifically for my health care, but 3 months ago that money disappeared. I clicked to the next slide bank statements. Transferred to pay for this wedding. Francesca's perfect smile faltered. What trust fund? The same day they paid the deposit for this venue, I clicked again, showing the dates. My parents drained my medical fund without telling me, without asking me. Talia, stop this right now. Mom's voice shook, but Grandma was smarter than anyone knew. Another click. The inheritance clause appeared on the massive screen behind me. She put in a special provision if the trust was ever misused. Don't you dare! Dad stood up. All inheritance rights would transfer to me. Everything. The house, the investments, all of it. I smiled directly into Francesca's live stream camera. The paperwork was filed this morning. The room erupted. Francesca's influencer friends started filming frantically. Stuart's face went from red to white. You're lying, Mom said, but her voice cracked. Carmen? I called out. Would you like to confirm? Carmen stood up from her table, legal documents in hand. The transfer is complete, Talia. It's all legally yours now. You stole from me, I said, looking at my parents. You gambled with my health for his perfect wedding. So now, you lose everything. This is my rehearsal dinner, Stuart shouted. You're ruining everything. No, I said calmly. I'm just finally showing everyone the truth about our perfect family. Mom lunged for the microphone, but in her rush, she tripped over an elaborate flower arrangement. Roses scattered across the floor as she fell, her designer dress hiked up, her carefully crafted image shattered. How dare you, she sputtered from the floor, after everything we've done for you. Everything you've done? I laughed. Let's talk about everything you've done. But before I could continue, Francesca's voice cut through the chaos. You used stolen money for my wedding? She turned to Stuart. Did you know about this? His stammering response was all the answer she needed. I stepped away from the microphone, nodding to Ramona, who was capturing everything. The drone overhead kept buzzing, documenting the implosion of my family's carefully constructed facade. The truth hurts, doesn't it? I said softly. Almost as much as watching your daughter suffer while you plan the perfect party. Then I walked out, leaving chaos in my wake. Behind me, I heard Francesca's voice rising. Turn off the live stream. Turn it off now. But it was too late. The truth was already out there, recorded forever, just like Mom always wanted. Talia, please, Mom's voice echoed across the parking lot. Let us explain. I kept walking, my heels clicking against the asphalt. Behind me, the crystal ballroom's doors burst open again as more people spilled out. "You've destroyed this family," Stewart shouted. "Are you happy now?" I turned around. "Destroyed it? You mean like you destroyed my health care? It was just money." He ran his hands through his perfectly styled hair. "We would have paid it back." When, after I ended up in the hospital, after irreversible damage was done, Francesca appeared, mascara running. "My followers are going crazy. Do you know what this will do to my brand?" "Your brand?" I laughed. "That's what you're worried about? 300,000 people watched that live stream." She thrust her phone at me. Comments were flooding in. "OMG, did they really steal from their sick daughter?" "Rich people are trash." "Karma is real, y'all." Dad pushed through the crowd. "Princess, please, we can fix this." "Fix what, Dad? The trust fund? My health? Or just the family's reputation?" "All of it." Mom grabbed my arm. "We'll sell the house. We'll get you your money back." Too late. I pulled away. Carmen already filed the paperwork. The house is mine now, along with everything else. "You can't do this to us." Stuart stepped forward. "We're your family." "Family?" I pulled out my phone. "Let me show you something about family." I played the video Ramona had compiled. Years of missed birthdays, hospital visits alone, celebrations centered around Stuart while I sat in the background. Photos of the BMW they bought him while I worked two jobs, screenshots of text messages dismissing my health concerns. "Stop it," Mom whispered. "Why? Isn't this the perfect family you wanted everyone to see?" Francesca's photographer was still snapping pictures. The drone hummed overhead. "Turn those cameras off!" Stuart lunged for the photographer, but Ramona stepped between them. "No way," she said. "Let's document everything. Isn't that what your mom always wanted?" More guests emerged, phones recording. Francesca's influencer friends were already posting live updates. "The wedding's off," Francesca announced suddenly. "I can't I can't be associated with this." "Franny, baby, wait." Stuart chased after her, leaving me facing my parents. "What do you want?" Mom's voice was hollow. "What will it take to fix this?" "Fix this?" I stepped closer. "You want to know what would have fixed this? Being there when I got diagnosed instead of at Stewart's game, helping with my college instead of buying him a car, not stealing my medical fund for his wedding." "We did the best we could," Dad pleaded. "No, you did your best for him. I got whatever was left over." I turned to leave. "Now you get to see how that feels." "Where are you going?" Mom called out. "To schedule my treatment. You know? The one I had to delay because you emptied my trust fund?" "But the house?" Dad said. "Where will we live?" "You should have thought about that before you gambled with my health." I reached my car. "I hear there are some nice rental properties near the hospital. The one I've been going to alone all these years." "Talia, please." Mom's voice cracked. "We're still your parents." I paused, hand on my car door. "You know what Grandma told me before she died? She said sometimes the kindest thing a parent can do is let their child face the consequences of their actions." I met her eyes. "Consider this me being kind." "You'll regret this," Stuart called out, having given up chasing Francesca. "You'll be alone." "I've always been alone," I replied. "You all just never noticed." Ramona appeared at my side, phone still recording. "Need a ride?" "No." I smiled. For once, I know exactly where I'm going. As we drove away, my phone exploded with notifications, messages from relatives, Francesca's followers, local news wanting comments. But only one message mattered, from Carmen. "Papers are filed. It's done. Your grandmother would be proud." In my rearview mirror, I could see my family growing smaller, Mom being consoled by her friends, Dad staring blankly at nothing, Stuart arguing with Francesca's family. The perfect image they'd worked so hard to maintain was shattered, scattered like the roses from Mom's fall. "You okay?" Ramona asked softly. "No," I answered honestly. "But I will be." My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Stuart. "You've ruined everything. I hope you're happy." I typed back, "Not happy, just finally free." Then I blocked his number, along with my parents. The time for family drama was over. I had a treatment to schedule and a new life to build, one where I finally put myself first. Behind us, the crystal ballroom's lights grew dim, and with them, the last remnants of my family's perfect facade faded into the night. The IV dripped steadily as I sat in the treatment chair, finally getting the medication I'd been forced to delay. My phone, silent for days since I'd blocked my family, suddenly lit up with Carmen's name. "The house sale is final," she said when I answered. "Your parents moved out yesterday." "Where did they go?" "A rental apartment across town. Stuart's staying with them temporarily." Francesca officially called off the wedding. I watched the medicine flowing into my veins. "Have they tried to contest the inheritance?" "They can't. The clause was ironclad, and they signed acknowledgement of it. Besides," she paused, "the social media fallout has them laying low." She wasn't kidding. Francesca's live stream had gone viral. Toxic family karma was trending, with my story becoming a cautionary tale about family betrayal. My nurse, Maria, came to check my vitals. "How are you feeling?" "Better than I have in weeks." I managed a smile. Amazing what proper medical care can do. "Your friend is here." She nodded toward the door where Ramona stood, holding coffee. "Brought you something better than hospital sludge," she said, handing me a cup. "Also, you might want to see this." She showed me her phone, a local news article about my parents listing their country club membership for sale. The comments section was brutal. "Karma comes for everyone eventually." "Imagine stealing from your sick kid for a wedding." "Rich people, problems meet real consequences." "Stop." I pushed the phone away. I didn't do this for revenge. "No?" Ramona raised an eyebrow. "I did it because I had to. Because if I didn't stand up for myself now, they'd never stop." My phone buzzed, an email from Dad bypassing the block. "Princess, your mother's not eating. Stuart lost his job. The viral story scared his company. We're selling everything we can. Please, can we talk? We're still family." "Dad," Ramona read over my shoulder. "Are you going to respond?" "No." I deleted the email. "They're not starving. They're just not rich anymore. Welcome to how the other half lives." Maria returned with more medication. "Your numbers are looking better already. The regular treatment schedule will make a huge difference." "Thank you." I hesitated. "Actually, I have a question. That patient support group you mentioned last time, the one for people struggling to afford treatment, the Women's Health Coalition, they're always looking for donors." I pulled out my laptop, opening my banking app. The inheritance money sat there, $350,000, more money than I'd ever had access to. Can I make an anonymous donation? 3 clicks later, $50,000 was transferred to the coalition, the exact amount they'd stolen from me. "Poetic," Ramona commented. "Grandma always said money shows who you really are." I closed the laptop. They showed who they were when they took it. I'm showing who I am by giving it. My phone buzzed again. Stuart this time, from a new number. "You won. Happy?" "Mom's crying every day. Dad's selling his golf clubs. I'm sleeping on their couch. Hope you enjoy your revenge." Ramona grabbed my phone before I could respond. "Let me handle this." She typed, "Enjoy the couch." "Talia enjoyed working 2 jobs through college while you got a BMW. Karma's funny that way." Then she blocked his new number. "You didn't have to do that," I said. "Yes, I did, because you're still trying to be nice, and they don't deserve nice." The treatment machine beeped, signaling the end of today's session. As Maria removed my IV, she handed me a pamphlet. "The coalition's next meeting," she said. "They could use a speaker who understands both sides of the healthcare struggle." I took the pamphlet, thinking of all the other people out there fighting battles like mine, people whose families might not understand, or care, or help. "I'll think about it." Later that night, alone in my apartment, I opened my grandmother's journal one last time. A photo fell out, me and her in the hospital during my first diagnosis. She was holding my hand, looking at me instead of the camera. While my parents were at Stuart's game, she had been there, seeing me. My phone buzzed with a final email from Mom. "We're your parents. We loved you the best we could. One day you'll understand. And forgive us." I touched the photo of Grandma, remembering her words. "Love isn't just a feeling, dear. It's a choice we make every day in how we treat people." I typed back one last message. You're right. I do understand. You chose Stuart every single day, in every single way. Now I'm choosing myself. Goodbye, Mom. Then I deleted her email address and closed my grandmother's journal. Outside, the city lights twinkled like stars, and for the first time in years, I could breathe freely. Sometimes the heaviest chains are the ones we're born into. But Grandma had given me the key to break free. Now I just had to learn to walk without the weight. I never thought I'd be standing here, I said into the microphone, facing the packed room at the Women's Health Coalition meeting. But someone wise once told me that our stories have power. Ramona gave me a thumbs up from the back row. Next to her, Carmen nodded encouragingly. My grandmother left me two things when she died: a medical trust fund and the courage to use it. When my family stole that fund, they thought they were just taking money, but they were taking my health, my autonomy, my right to exist as more than an inconvenience. The room was silent, dozens of women leaning forward in their chairs. But she left me something else too, a way to fight back, not just for me, but for all of us. I clicked to the next slide, a photo of the new treatment center wing funded by the inheritance money. The Annika Crawford Memorial Wing shown in elegant letters above the entrance. Every room in this wing will provide subsidized treatment for patients who can't afford it. Because healthcare isn't a privilege, it's a right. After the speech, a young woman approached me, clutching her own medical papers. My parents said my treatments were too expensive, that I should just try being positive instead. I handed her my card. Call this number tomorrow. We'll get you started. My phone buzzed, a text from Maria, my nurse. First round of patients coming in tomorrow. You did good, kid. Outside, Ramona waited by her car. Ready for dinner. Carmen's meeting us there. 1 second. I checked my email one last time. A message from Stuart sat unopened. Found Mom crying over old photos. She finally admitted what they did to you was wrong. Dad's talking about counseling. I never saw it before, how they treated you. I'm sorry. Really sorry. If you ever want to talk. You going to answer him? Ramona asked. Not today. I put my phone away. Maybe not ever. Some bridges stay burned. At the restaurant, Carmen raised her glass. To Annika, she knew exactly what she was doing. To Grandma, I agreed, the only one who ever really saw me. Speaking of seeing things, Ramona pulled out her tablet. Look what Francesca posted. A new video. My journey to understanding privilege and family toxicity. 8 million views. At least someone learned something, Carmen mused. They all did, I said. Mom and Dad lost their status. Stuart lost his perfect life. They finally know what it feels like to struggle. And you? Ramona asked. What did you learn? The waiter brought our food, salmon, my actual favorite, not the stroganoff my mother always claimed I loved. I learned that sometimes the family you're born into isn't the family you need. Sometimes you have to build your own. Speaking of building, Carmen pulled out some papers. The foundation paperwork is ready. Once you sign, the Annika Crawford Medical Fund will be official. I took the pen, thinking of all the other patients out there, fighting battles like mine. The inheritance money would fund treatments for years to come. Perfect timing, Ramona said. Maria texted. They have 3 new patients already approved for subsidized care. My phone buzzed again. Another email from Mom. Saw the new hospital wing. Your grandmother would be proud. I wish we had been. Delete. You know what Grandma told me once? I signed the foundation papers with a flourish. She said sometimes the strongest families aren't the ones we're born into, but the ones we choose to build. I looked around the table, at Ramona, who'd always had my back, at Carmen, who helped me fight, at the foundation papers that would help others fight too. To chosen family, Carmen raised her glass again. To karma, Ramona added with a wink. To Grandma, I finished, who taught me that the best revenge isn't punishment, it's living well and helping others live better too. Outside, the hospital wing's lights glowed in the distance. Tomorrow, it would open its doors to its first patients, people like me who needed help and hope. My phone lit up one last time, a message from Maria. First patient tomorrow is a young girl. Her parents chose a vacation over her treatment. Sound familiar? I typed back, tell her she's not alone anymore. Tell her she's finally somewhere she'll be seen. Then I looked at my chosen family around the table and smiled. They always said blood is thicker than water, but sometimes water is exactly what you need to wash away the past and nurture something new to grow. Ready to go? Ramona asked. Big day tomorrow. I stood up, leaving my phone and its unanswered family messages on the table. Yeah, time to help someone else become visible. Because sometimes the best way to heal isn't to fix what's broken, but to build something entirely new from the pieces.